Hey everybody, Keen47 aka Wolfkeen here with another edition of A Wolf's Word. Now today on A Wolf's Word... Why am I talking so fast? Sorry, I can't really breathe that well. My allergies are coming up, so... Anyways, today on A Wolf's Word I'm going to talk about a game which is another survival horror, which is in the same line as Operation Raccoon City, which I did compare in my playthrough. Not my playthrough, my review of Operation Raccoon City, which, as you can tell, Silent Hill Downpour. Now today, let's talk about it. We all know that the Silent Hill series hasn't been doing very well lately because of its stream of games. We all know that the Silent Hill team disbanded after 1, 2, and 3. So after 3 was released, the Silent Hill team disbanded, and this is when the Silent Hill series started going from up to down. Silent Hill 4, The Room was terrible. Silent Hill Origins was bad. Silent Hill Shattered Memories, could have been better. And Homecoming I felt was a bad fail. So here we go again with Silent Hill Downpour. Now it says right here in the back, who can stop the rain? And it says right here, join convict Murphy Pendleton in Silent Hill where fear and torment are inescapable. It's made by Konami. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. And it's powered by the Unreal technology. So, let's get into a couple of things. Number 1, what's the story about? As I read, it talks about a convict named Murphy Pendleton, where, you're being transferred to another prison, but in order for them to get to this prison, they have to drive through the old road through Silent Hill. Of course, there's a hole in the road, the bus driver crashes, and somehow, someway, you survive. So you make your way to Silent Hill where, of course, just like in Silent Hill 2 and other Silent Hills, your worst nightmares are made real. So basically, you have to try to escape Silent Hill. But along with trying to escape Silent Hill, you start learning about Murphy Pendleton's past. Basically, you find out that he had a son, that certain things happened to him, and one of these events pushed him towards going to jail, and you find out why he went to jail. So the story does progress onto why he's in jail, what's going on with his past, and why did he come to Silent Hill. Like, of course, you already know, just like in the Saw movies, when people come to Silent Hill, they're there to learn a lesson. Look at James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2. Yes, I'm bringing him up because, well, let's face it, he came there looking for his wife, and of course, when he made it through most of it, he also had a punishment, which was Pyramid Head. Most of the enemies resembled how James was. Well, like, you know, the nurses, the four-legged things, like, you know, 2 legs up here, 2 legs up top, and stuff like that. So we find out a couple of things about Murphy Pendleton when we come here. One of the first beginning things that happen is when a fire happens in a diner that you're in, and you do cause the fire to go out, you go to this hellish world where, well, you just go to this hellish world and stuff like that. Anyways, let me get into some of the gameplay aspects. The story, I think you already get the gist of it. Now, the gameplay-wise, there's a couple of things I could say about it. Like, for one, they did change the combat system from Homecoming. They still got the lock-on system, but they made the character a little bit more clunky in combat, which I kind of understand. Nobody understands why the battle system is bad. Everyone's like, hey, this battle system's bad! Homecoming had a better battle system! Well, let me explain something. If you were in a apocalypse like this, fighting off monsters 2 times your size, do you really think you're going to fight effectively? Like, really? Really think about that one. Do you really think you're going to fight effectively? Also, take into consideration the characters. Number 1, the guy is supposed to be a writer, right? Harry Mason, I think he's a writer. Number 2, James Sunderland's a clerk. Number 3, Heather Mason is a teenage girl. Number 4, Henry, I just call him a twat because nobody cares about that fucker. Number 5, Silent Hill Origins, we have Travis, which he's a truck driver. And then we had Shattered Memories, which was a remake of 1, which didn't even have any combat. And then finally we had Homecoming, which understandably his combat system is more improved because he's a soldier. So really think about it. This character is a convict, so I don't know what his profession was or anything like that, but he's a convict. So all we can assume is that he does have a little bit of combat skill, but not a lot. Like, you know, he's not going to be able to kill every monster in one shot. So it's understandable why the combat system is as it is. Now, another thing a lot of people like to say is that, is the atmosphere good in this game? I think it is. I think it feels really atmospheric because you do feel like you're alone. It feels like you're alone in this town. It doesn't like feel like you'll run into anybody else. And the thing about this game, just like in Silent Hill Origins, weapons break and you can only carry a certain amount. Well, except in Origins, you can have like 20 to 30 TVs and stuff like that. In this game, you can only have one melee weapon and one firearm. So basically, it teaches you to be careful what you have. Basically, one of the tips is make sure you swap out a weaker, better repaired weapon for, you know, like, if your weapon is strong but it's about to break, it's better to just swap out for a weaker weapon that's not about to break. Which creates a sense of desperation if you break your weapon. Not to mention, they did change up the monsters in this game. Thank God they took out the nurses. The nurses had no... And my camera's not straight. Yeah, that'll do. The nurses had no business in any other Silent Hill game because, let's face it, the only reason the nurses were so, well, you know, I don't want to say it and then because, like, you know, all these comments. But the reason why they were like that in Silent Hill 2 was because of basically James's libido. So you got to really think about that one. So why would they make the nurses again and again and again in other Silent Hills? But there's no one involved in it that's like that. I mean, really think about it. Alex Shepard's brother isn't like that, so why put the hot nurses in there? Wow, I just said it. Fuck. But anyways, let's get into it. They did change up the monsters. They have these screaming ladies, which are like in these raggedy clothes that can beat your ass up since they have like almost like their nails are like blades. And they can scream really loud, which causes you to be stunned. They have these, I don't know what they're called, but they're like these walker things that can walk on the ceiling, the walls. They have these bruisers, which in one punch they can knock your ass onto the floor. Later on, you run into them again, but with knives. And then finally, you run into like a big version of the bruiser, where like, he'll fuck your ass up if he finds you. Then you have the mannequins, which basically produce ghosts that will attack you if seen. So, we don't have too many enemies in the game, but the ones that they did put create a sense of desperation. In this game, you're going to want to run. You're not going to want to fight all the time, because if you fight all the time, your weapons are going to break, you're going to take damage, and 9 times out of 10, you're just going to end up going towards a bad ending. Because, you know, in bad endings, it basically means like killing everything you see. You want to run in these type of games. Now, what about the voiceover? I think the voiceover is pretty well done. I don't know how many people do voiceovers, but for a Silent Hill game, I think this is well done. I think it has a lot of well done stuff in it. The voiceovers feel realistic. Even though like we're supposed to be mainly talking about the character Murphy Pendleton, you feel like you can connect with these other characters you run into. Like the police officer at the start of the game, the mailman creeps me the fuck out, but I kind of like him a little bit. He's almost like the guardian angel. Like, he'll always be there when you need him. In my sense, if you really think about it. And there's more characters, but that's like the ones I connected with, besides Murphy, which I liked a lot. Murphy, I thought, was a really good protagonist for this game. He has his own dark past, and he has his own reasons. Now, let's get into, let's see, I talked about story, atmosphere, and characters. What else can I talk about? Oh yeah, I should also warn you that sometimes in this game it will rain. When it rains, of course, like the title explains, downpour. When it starts downpouring, the monsters become more aggressive and they become more keyed into where you are. So it's usually best to duck into cover. Now, one other thing I should talk about is the side missions. This game has a lot of side missions. In my playthrough, I only did like 4 or 5. So, there are lots of side missions ranging from like putting ashes on a special spot to returning stolen stuff to their ghosts. Basically, these side missions help you unlock different items that'll help you out through the game. Like, actually, through one side mission, you can unlock the best firearm in the game, which is the gold gun. And then finally, in another side mission, you can unlock the best melee weapon in the whole game, which is the demonic statue. So these side missions aren't there just for, you know, kicks and giggles. It's there to help you become better and to help you get the stuff you need. Now, what else? There are I think there are 5 endings in the game. I've got 2 of them. I got the Forgiveness and Full Circle. I'm not going to explain what they are, but I'll let you figure it out for yourself. I got the best possible, and I think I got one of the best worst endings. I don't know. I'm not sure. And my camera still isn't straight. My shoulder looks off. But anyways, there are 5 endings in the game, which I like a lot. Now, let's get into the issues. This game can get repetitive as fuck. Let's face it. This game can get repetitive as fuck because of the combat system and the monsters. This game, you have to backtrack a lot. Like, sometimes you have to backtrack to go find a puzzle solution. Go back to the puzzle, remember if you can remember the puzzle, and sometimes if you forget, you have to run back and figure it out again before you're able to go back to the door and unlock it again. So it gets annoying, these backtracking. It just doesn't feel like it just doesn't feel like the other Silent Hills. Like, I think this is better than Homecoming, but it just doesn't feel as atmospheric as 2. 2 scared the fuck out of me. So this game, I didn't feel so many scares. I just felt tense. That's what I really felt in this game. I felt more tense than scared. And then finally, and this is the big issue of the game, the frame rate is choppy as all fuck. This game has such choppy frame rate, I can't even forgive it for it, because sometimes when it saves or loads, you'll be like, and then like try to run and you're choppy as fuck. Sometimes it can happen in combat too, and lucky for me it didn't, but if it did, I'm pretty sure I would get my ass beat in combat if it became choppy. So the frame rate is a massive, massive issue with this game. They need to fix that quick before they lose any fans to this game because of the choppy frame rate. Honestly, the music scores is pretty good as well, but there's some music that just doesn't fit the situation. Honestly. Now, I think I've talked about all I can about Silent Hill Downpour. There's not a lot to talk about besides the side missions, the main story, and stuff like that. So what do I think about this game? I think this is a lot better than I think it's a lot better than Homecoming. I think this is a good turn in the right direction for the Silent Hill series, just like Sonic Generations. Frame rate is pretty bad. Other stuff like that can be pretty bad, like it's repetitive as fuck and other stuff like that. But at least they moved on. At least they didn't keep using the same monsters over and over again and kept trying to have like the same storyline over and over again. So they did try to change a couple of things, which I like. But at the same time, they added a couple of things I don't like, which is the repetition, the backtracking, and of course, the frame rate. So, honestly, Silent Hill Downpour, I think it is worth $60 because there is 5 endings in the game, so you can definitely do that. Took me about 10 hours, but that's because I suck at puzzles, so it probably should have took me 6. So it took me 10 hours, 6 hours if you're good, to beat this game. With 5 endings, that's 30 hours of gameplay. So for $60, well, actually, you could get most of the endings by just replaying the final mission and doing the other choice. So to be honest, I say you only have to play about 20 hours, but that's still good for a $60 game. Not to mention there's plenty of trophies, like one of them being good behavior, where you have to make it through without killing a single monster. Silent Hill Downpour, great Silent Hill game. I think it's a good entry into the series. I give this game a 7.5. Silent Hill Downpour has a couple of issues with it, but it's above, like, normal. Like, I think it's a good game. I think it's better than Downpour, not Downpour, Homecoming, sorry. It's definitely better than Homecoming, and I think it's definitely worth $60. If not, just wait for it to drop to, like, 50 and buy it. It's definitely a great game, and it's definitely worth it. Now, along with this review of Silent Hill Downpour, I decided, since this might work on all systems, I'm going to give away the code. Basically, you can use this code to unlock the nail gun and the double axe, which is in Silent Hill Downpour. So if you have Silent Hill Downpour and you would like the code, here it is. 171678. Again, it's 171678. There you go, guys. Now you got your double-sided, now you got your double axe and your nail gun, so you should have no problems with the game, at least for a little while. So that's a Wolf's Word, 7.5 out of 10. I gave you the code for the double axe and nail gun, because I don't need it. My thing's already unlocked no matter what. So, that's a Wolf's Word. I'm Keen 47, aka Wolfkeen, and I will catch you all for another one. See ya.